Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith. In this episode, we're going to go over how to build an army for playing in Golem Arcana. Now keep in mind, the version of the application I have may be different from what you have, but the process should still remain essentially the same. To build an army, from the main menu, first I'm going to tap here where it says Army Builder. And then I'm going to tap down here where it says New Army. Now we need to pick a faction. And you can see the game currently has 3 faction types. And within the faction types, you can include certain combinations of units from other factions. Those limitations are shown here at the bottom of each of the faction sections. So for example, if I choose to build a Durrani Empire faction, I can include golems from any faction except for Gudana. And I'll choose Durrani Empire by tapping on it. Now I need to give my army a name. I'll tap on the name field and type in something. Let's call them the Watchers. I'll tap Done and Create. Now I can add a golem by tapping here. This will give me a list of allowable golems sorted by their size that I can choose from. I like the Winged Vanguard, so I'll pick that by tapping on its name. You can see it has an army point value, or APV, listed here. Each scenario will limit you to a certain total number of army points. So this is something you'll need to keep an eye on. I can see the grand total of my army in this area right here. Each golem must have a knight assigned to it, and so you'll pick that by tapping in this location. And I can pick any of the knights listed. I can bounce from one to the next, reading the details, before I settle on one. To bounce back to look at the details on my golem, I can tap here on the golem symbol and see my Winged Vanguard again. If I choose, I can also give my golem a relic by tapping on this box. Relics are represented by physical cards which you'll need and often come with expansions that you buy for Golem Arcana. Certain relics can only be equipped by certain sized golems, so again the application is going to give us a listing here of those that would be applicable for the golem that we have selected. I like the Bone Gate Totem, so I'm going to tap on that. If I'm finished with a golem, I can tap down here to add it officially to my army. If I have a change of heart later, I can tap in this area right here to remove it. Or I can tap on the golem here to go back in, maybe make some adjustments, or just remind myself of what I had chosen to begin with. When you add a golem to an army for the first time, the application will prompt you asking you whether or not you want to add that golem to your collection. If you actually own the golem, then it's a good idea to say yes, and I'll show you why in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at my army point total. Right now it's showing as 275. If I was building to a 500 point army, then I'd still have plenty of room to add additional golems if I wanted to. And again, we do that by tapping here. Now notice that instead of looking at all of the golems in a single list, as we did the first time, these tabs along the side allow us to limit our view based on the golems sorted by their own factions. Or we can tap this star here at the bottom. This will show a list of those golems that I've added to my collection. So once I've added every golem I own to an army and verified that it's part of my collection, in the future, if I want, I can just build armies by looking at what I actually own rather than looking at all that is available and possible. I had added the Winged Vanguard to my collection earlier, and that's why we're seeing it here. I don't want to add another golem to my army right now, so instead I'm going to tap on Remove from Army, because you already know everything you need to know about adding golems, knights, and relics to an army. Aside from golems, you can also add ancient ones by tapping here. Here we have a list of all of the available ancient ones that we could use, and tapping on any of these options will show you its army point value, once again listed here, and the abilities that it will offer to you. I think these powers are going to be pretty useful, so I'm going to add this ancient one to my army. At any point during army creation, you can save by tapping on Save Army. It's confirming that we've saved, and now we can see the Watchers are in our list of armies that we've created. You can delete an army by tapping here, or if you just want to make some changes to an army you've already built, you can duplicate it by tapping here. Renaming an army is as simple as tapping on its name in the area here. For example, if I wanted to change it to just the Watcher, I could do that. Type Done. I'll save the army, Army saved, and there you go. And that's how you build an army in Golem Arcana. If you have any questions about what we covered here, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below this video, and they will be answered as soon as possible. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.